Hi, my name's Sean Connors, this is Outsiders and welcome to review show number 2. This week we're talking about Warhammer 3rd edition. I must be honest, here I have the collection of everything so far that Warhammer has released for it. It's still in its infancy, it's only been going just a few months, but I have to say I was very excited when I first heard about this coming back. I did play 1st edition Warhammer, I had a fondness for it, I loved DMing in the world, I found the world fantastic. For those that don't know, and I'm going to cover this off in some other shows, I'm going to go into some detail about Warhammer World, about this system, some of the nuances about it, what makes it different. But today this is just going to be purely a review on this game. I'll also cover off, they've got the Adventurer's Toolkit, extra dice, all sorts of bits and pieces, and again I will go into follow-up programs that will follow after this quite shortly, which will cover off in more detail, so look out for those. When you read something for the first time, it's very easy. I mean, I found this a few times as a DM. You read something and you think to yourself, this is fantastic, best thing since sliced bread. And I've done that with other RPGs in the past, and I've been let down because the players are the ones that then tell you, well, Sean, you didn't think of this, or you didn't think of that. And then when you reflect back, you think, yeah, they're right. And it's really the players that you might fall in love with something as a ref, but it's a collaboration. Do the players find that same empathy that you have? Do they find the appeal that you have for it? This system is absolutely top-notch. Let me just tell you straight away, right off the bat, this is the best system I've seen in 30 years of DMing. I love this system, and I'll tell you why. It's deep, it's very meaningful, it pretty much has everything I'm looking for, and it does some things very uniquely that I never thought any RPG could ever do. And I'm going to try and cover those off a little bit today, but as I say, I will come back in future shows and we'll go into a lot more detail. So what separates it? Is it still Warhammer? Is it still recognisable from the 1st edition? 2nd edition even? The answer clearly is yes. This is Warhammer. What are the fundamental changes? Well, there are some strange people out there at the moment that say this is a board game because it uses cards and tokens and various things like that. Nothing could be further from the truth when you actually get down and actually play it. I'll tell you the most telling thing about this system, no matter how I review it, is the following piece of information. How much fun was it to play? I'll tell you what, I never heard players so excited after a session than when I ran this. In 30 years of play, it felt like day one. I had people really enthusing about it, and that tells you a lot. And I wondered, why is that? What makes this system so very special? What is it that separates it from everything else on the market at the moment? And I can only think of two things really that stand it out. The first one is, of course, it is different, and that's a great thing in this day and age. The second thing is, it's without a doubt, it has a rich history, and that also helps it. Now, this system is made up of several factors. It's character creation, so that's pretty standard, but it's got some very interesting elements to it, which again we will cover off in later shows. You get some pretty unique cards. Cards like, I've got a few here, so you get various cards that allow you to do different things. I'm not going to bore you with the various technical details. Needless to say, all the cards are relevant. And what you do is you build up a character that you want to create. I found there are so many bits of information. I mean, there are over, I think there's probably something in the range of 200 options the player has open to him in terms of how he wants to develop his character. There are 30 core character classes. There were 10 more that added through the toolbook, and I hope I'm doing it justice. It's exceptionally exciting. You can see the platform that they've built is just going to grow and grow and grow. What my players loved about it was they loved the initiative system. The initiative system is where all the players roll their initiative, the enemy rolls theirs, but the players can quickly decide who takes the top initiative, who takes the worst, and on each round they can change it. They loved it, fell in love with it. We all loved the way that fatigue and stress work within this game, which I thought would never ever be done, and it was uniquely done in this game. It's very fair, and one of the biggest problems I always thought as a referee was how do you have fatigue and stress without it? It seems more of a hindrance to the players than it does to the NPC. Well, they've got around that problem from a design point of view, because what they've done is if the enemy stress themselves or fatigue themselves out, they take wounds instead of stress and fatigue. That's a very balancing thing, and as a referee, I'll tell you, that really gives you some interesting choices. So overall, it's a phenomenal game. It has a unique dice mechanic. It does not use traditional role-playing dice, and in a future show I'm going to cover those off in a little bit more detail. But those dice help tell a story, and that's one of the fundamental principles that's always been great about Warhammer. Telling that story, that collaboration between yourself and the referee, those dice really do help you. And at first I was like some people out there, I had some trepidation. I wondered if my players would get into this. How long would it take? 3 rolls of the dice and we were quickly into it, I can tell you. We had some amazing things happen over the first few sessions, and the wonderful thing is, as people are getting more and more into their characters and seeing how it works, it's just getting more and more exciting. So the future of this role-play game is absolutely tremendous. There is some tracking involved. I'm going to cover off a few negatives here. One, it's not cheap. I mean, this set, without the toolbox, is going to cost you in the UK about £65. So in this marketplace, in this day and age, that might be seen as quite a lot of money. But what do you get for your money? Well, you've already probably seen reviews out there about the books. I'm not going to bore you flicking through books, but they're all colour books. Every page is colour-coded. Probably the weakest part of the books is the index. But however, Fantasy Flight Games, who produced this, have obviously realised the feedback they were getting from their players was that the index just wasn't strong enough. So they released something called the Living Index, which can be found on their website. You can download it, it's continually updated. And very quickly it eradicates any of the problems that you might have with that. For myself, the negatives so far are so minor, it's pathetic. I can see nothing wrong with the pure mechanics of this game. The way that it plays is fast, it's furious, it is gritty, there's no doubt about it, but it's very fair. I like the way wounds work. This is a brilliant game for that, because you'd find as you play it, you have a lingering effects that kick on. If you get some serious wounds, they can be very lingering because it's not as easy to overcome as in other games that I've encountered. Magic in this game is a little less powerful, but it's still out there. And each of the schools of magic, you can see how they're going to develop those. I like the various options open to players through action cards, which we just looked at a few moments ago. Wow, I mean, you can create some amazing characters with that, and already it's got the players thinking. One of the most amazing mechanics, if you're a referee wondering about whether people get into this, they have the party sheets. And the party sheets give the focus for the group. So very simply, it could be you're playing a bunch of swords for hire. So the group have decided that's what they're going to be. So immediately, that's an easy thing. You can lock into that as a DM, and you can say, you know what, wow, I've already got something I can start tailoring some stories towards this group. And not only that, the sheet does two other things. The first one is players can lock on special talents onto the sheet that everybody has access to because they've given it. And then equally, it has a tension meter. So as the game, parts in the game, whether it's party tension, whether it's you want to press the story along and you think now's the time to actually increase the tension, just move the token along. It's a beautiful mechanic, and it really focuses the group. So overall, where do I stand with this game? Well, I never thought I'd do this in the history of role-playing. So for me, this is a one-off. I've never done it before. I don't know if I'll ever do it again. This system, in my scoring system, gets the perfect 4. And it's only the beginning. Trust me, out of all the systems that I will review, I'm going to find it very difficult to top this. So Fantasy Flight Games, Jay Little and your production team, and all those people that so far have bought into this, it's well worth it. If you don't check it out, it'll be the cruelest thing you've ever done. Trust me, the input in this is brilliant. Oh, I must add one more thing actually, and again I should cover this off for fairness within the review. The core box will cover you and about 3 players. That's if you're not prepared to photocopy, in which case it's fairly easy. I've heard that mentioned in a few people. There's not a lot that you can't get round. So Jay Little and your team, the perfect 4. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Outsiders. My name's Sean Connors. Happy gaming, and until next time, see you then.